This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. You guys take the whole day off yesterday, or do you have to work your other jobs?
I had to go into the office and help record some stuff, and so I was out and about. How about you, Tef?
Nope, whole day off yesterday.
Ooh, there you go. Now you're talking, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
So we were just talking about getting through the weekend and getting through this and getting through that, and I counted up. I've gotten so far today, my first day back at work after the inauguration, and it's not just one side. I got 15 requests for money from politicians overnight last night. 15 of them. It's like, first of all, most of you are already worth $100 to $1 billion, $100 million to $1 billion. What the hell you need with my money, right?
Yeah, right. It's a weird spot, and Tevin put it great, like right before the show. Like, one, it's not election season anymore. There's no campaign to spend money on. Just take some time off. Also, it seems like all you got to do now is just do a crypto coin, and then make money on that, and then you're good to go.
What? I don't understand that whole crypto coin thing. What is that?
I don't understand it either, but for some reason, people want to buy it. And then other people it seems like from my gathering, whoever starts it ends up coming out super rich, and people that buy into it slightly too late end up losing a lot of money.
Yeah. And I feel like the first one, like Bitcoin, was that like the first major cryptocurrency that came out? Like that made a ton of people a lot of money. And then all of these other ones were like, well, I'm going to do the same thing. But they were all really just like, I guess, Ponzi pyramid type schemes to get people to buy in so they could sell out.
But then you have people that are like buying stuff called like Hawk Tua coin and poop coin and just like bald coin. It's like, that's going to show up on a bank statement, man. Like, you got to deal with that.
You know where they learned that lesson, though, that they could do that is from the federal government, because from what I understand, they can't even find all that gold that used to be in Fort Knox. They have no idea where the hell it went. Jeez. So all of that gold was backing up our currency, and now it's gone, and nobody knows where it went. Unless maybe in the last year or so they figured it out, and I just didn't hear about it. But I was doing some reading on that. Yeah, all of a sudden, all this gold just disappeared.
I don't know. I've seen National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets, and I know it's just buried under Mount Rushmore, and that's
okay.
Nick Cage is down there too.
That is good for me if you want it that way. I just doing a little walking this morning. I got to be honest with you, and I'm very serious about this. In the last week or so, I've been depressed as hell because people are so incredibly mean to one another. I mean, not to me. Nobody's been mean to me or anything like that, but I just look online. It's like, it's Tuesday. No, it isn't. It's like, oh, God. The sun's up. No, it's not. Why do people want to be angry? I just look, the government's always been screwed up. Let's not kid ourselves. We've gotten involved in wars we should have never been involved in. We've gotten involved in all kinds of things we should have never been involved in. Why all of a sudden are you that upset? Am I wild about Trump? No. Am I wild about Biden? No. But I lived through Trump's first deal and Biden's deal, so I think I can make it. Pretty sure.
Yeah, if we can make it through one term of Trump, which also had like COVID and riots and like a slew of other things, we can make it through another term with Trump. We'll be all right.
I thought that it was that half and half? Was the election during COVID? I can't remember.
I know Trump was in there at least for part of it because he had the the Clorox. Should we all
That's right.
Drink Clorox or something like that, and that everybody freaked out about.
And then Biden came in, and he what did he do? Because I don't pay much attention to that whole situation. They said I had COVID twice. I don't know if it was COVID or not. I recovered from it, and whatever. I just, why do people want to be so? I'm trying to avoid being angry. Yeah, there are things on both sides I don't care for, and they make their arguments, and I think they're BS arguments pretty much. But I just wouldn't waste my life on being angry. I love my wife, my kids, my grandkids, some of my friends, not all of them. A minuscule amount of coworkers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, I was just talking to. Now, don't tell the Star Tribune this because Most of my friends in Florida are black. So don't tell anybody that, Tevin, though, because, the Star Tribune and all of they don't want to hear about that. But I was talking to Brew, who's a friend of mine. And by the way, Brew is one guy. He's about your size, Tevin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'd want to piss Brew off. That's all I'm saying. One of the nicest men ever born. But he and I were talking about the fact that neither he nor I got a ballot to vote in the presidential election. Catherine got hers, but I never got mine. And I got to believe that was pretty much intentional, because Catherine's got a different last name than I do. So they just think it's probably a different person. But yeah, silencing the people, that's a real smart move. That's great. How do you not get a ballot to a public figure? Explain that to me.
The whole mail-in, it's confusing enough to figure out like where to go to vote and get there on the correct day. But to do the whole mail-in thing, I would be completely.
Am I going to this church or this community center? Yep. Where am I supposed to be? Yeah.
I suppose. I don't know. I'm not really depressed, but I am very sad by all this stuff. And the ex-president, and then the new president who was the ex-president saying this horrible things about each other. And it's like, really? Is this what we need right now? Is you two bad-mouthing each other nonstop? Why? Show some class. Could you name one person that I act differently around because I hate them? Is there one person that I hate?
I don't think so. And I don't know that I've ever seen you around anybody that you don't. I feel like you're the type of person where if you hate somebody or don't like somebody, you're just like, I don't really associate with you and hang out.
I suppose that's true, but I don't hate anybody. I don't like some people, but there's nobody I would waste my time on hating. That takes way too much energy to hate people, don't you think?
Oh, 100%.
Well, I sent out the message this morning that, I grew up Democrat, and then I became Republican, and now I'm centrist, and I don't like any of the three positions. I got to be honest. Is there a fourth one I can move to now?
I'm not sure. I'll look into it.
Just weak leadership. I don't know. Is it all about money? Is your perception of this whole thing, is it all about the money?
Yeah, I think it's mostly about money, but then it's also people just refuse to concede even the slightest little piece of, like, if they're like, well, if you agree to mow my grandma's lawn, we'll pass your bill. And they'll be like, nope, I'm not doing that. Like people just don't want to appear to lose anything at all.
I don't know why. It was good for me to learn from losing. In my life, when I lost, I learned from that, and it was really good for me. Losing is not a bad thing. If you didn't win, what are you going to do? You did your best, but you lost.
Right. And if both parties get their way, it doesn't mean that it's not a competition to see who can get more of their way. Like if you want thing X and they want thing Y and both gets passed, everybody can win. It doesn't have to be one person has to win.
Well, a good example. This is probably from 40 years ago. I was watching the Ed Sullivan Show this morning. What I did during the election and the last few days, I've been watching old shows like Criminal Minds, episode 1, season 1. I watched last night because I want to avoid all the stuff right now, and it hasn't changed all that much. You know what I mean? Well, there was a good joke though. George Carlin was on the Ed Sullivan Show. Remember George Carlin? Mm-hmm. Right? He's no longer with us. I think George is dead now, isn't he? I think.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure he is. But he was on there talking about meeting Muhammad Ali. And, of course, George was not a big fella anyway. And Muhammad, probably about your size, Tevin, somewhere in there?
Yeah, probably.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
I look a lot like Muhammad.
Image of the great one, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Now he's the all-time greatest of the...
I'm funny. I'm pretty.
George Carlin said, as a promotion, we were going to... Muhammad Ali and I were going... I think he said Cassius Clay, though. I think he was still Cassius Clay at that time. But I don't remember. But I agreed to go around with Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, whatever he said. And I got knocked out immediately. And there was a long pause. He goes, well, actually, I wasn't knocked out. I got in the ring, looked at Muhammad Ali, and fainted. So that's a pretty good joke, I think. Even looking at Muhammad Ali causes you to pass out. See, that's what I want. Is anybody funny anymore? That's the other thing. I saw some comedy over the weekend. I don't want to say who it is because, might be friends of yours or friends of mine or somebody who's been on the show or going to be on the show or whatever. Mm-hmm. There are not a lot of funny comedians right now. And maybe you guys know a couple that I don't even know about, but they're just not that funny anymore. Do they have to be really careful right now? Do you think that's part of it?
I think it's more like music. I think it used to be like there was a very clear-cut couple of ways you did comedy, and it was like quick-witted, like bing, bang, boom, ha, gotcha, huh, your mother, huh,
Yo, mammy boy.
But now it's like, if you open up Spotify and you go to country music, now there's like rural country, pop country, folksy country, indie country. Like there's 17 different subgenres, and I think you're getting that with comedy too, where it's like, this guy is more dry humor, but also it's punny dry humor. And then you have darker dry humor and all this stuff. So you got to really, I think, find a comedian that like hits it home for you rather than.
Yes, right.
I mean, like there's not as many blanket comedians, I think, that are like nationally adored nowadays.
I would say this because I know we got to go to break here, but I am screwed for the rest of my life because nobody is ever going to be as funny as Richard Pryor. I got so lucky to be a little boy when Richard Pryor broke through. That man was the funniest human being I have ever seen. And the sad part of that is it cost him his life. Because to be that funny, to be that open and honest about your life and the things you've been through and all that stuff, you're going to do some drugs or drink or you're going to do whatever the hell's happening. We used to have, Tevin, were you ever around when Rain Pryor used to come in the studio, his daughter?
No, I was not.
Yeah, I should have known that because you probably would have wanted to marry her at the time.
Yeah, I probably would have fainted.
And then Richard Pryor Jr. used to come in the studio all the time too, and they're both, I don't know who raised the kids, but they're both really, really nice kids. But I mean, in order to be that funny and hit home, it costs you your life in general to be that funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of comedians and I think it was more prevalent back in the day where comedy came from kind of a dark place of hurt. Right. And now I think it's kind of changed a little bit where more people are doing comedy and can be funny. But yeah, a lot of times those guys that really were able to connect, it's because you can connect with the negative emotional sides of life as well.
Yeah, probably true during all the hippie era and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No question. Well, what the hell. Richard, I miss you. I never got a chance to meet Richard Pryor. Like I said, I met his family, whole family except for him, but I never got to meet. And I'm kind of glad I didn't get to meet him because he was really that depressed all the time. I would probably walked away going, oh, man, that was not a pleasant experience. Yeah.
Yeah, don't meet your heroes type of thing.
Don't meet your heroes kind of deal. But, you keep moving in life. Oh, Jude's knocking at the door. I better go to break here.
No,
did you hear that? He's like, open up.
There we go.
Bop, bop, open up, bop, bop. Let's go. It is time for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is a place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team, always staffed within the building, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire of Medina, now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally, and they are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They're the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends, and they are my friends. I'm not making that up. At Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just giving you information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision, But if you are, don't sign anything until you talk to us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. You know that. It's because of you that they're making it through. Mike Lindell and his employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get My Body pillows for $29.98, and use multi-use MyPillows. They're only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com, use promo code Tom, or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code Tom to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow. It's originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98 and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order ship $75 or more absolutely free.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We're here, Judd with us. Nothing to talk about. No surprises in the playoffs. I didn't even watch any of the games.
No?
But I looked at the final and said there were no surprises there, were there?
There were, you know what? It was actually 4 fun games. It was a good
Was it good?
weekend, yes. But, you know, the one I liked the most was the Rams-Eagles game because it started to snow at halftime and the field was a pain in the ass after that. And I love football weather games, going back to going to the Met to watch the Vikings play in the elements.
No, well, I did watch the highlights of it, and it was snowing, man. Not just little snow. It was snowing big time.
Started at halftime too, so like they knew it was coming, and I think it actually started to fall late in the second quarter. But yeah, that field got slick. It definitely impacted the game, but I still think the best team won.
Okay, so you got 4 teams left.
Yep.
Of the 4, who you got winning it? Please, not Kansas City again.
I'd love to see Buffalo win it finally.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Buffalo.
I'd love to see Buffalo knock them off and then win it. I mean, it's going to be tough because they have to go through Kansas City again in Kansas City. The officials definitely probably helping Kansas City.
Yep.
So
I don't know. It's really, really unfortunate, but I just, again, I think I'm rolling the dice here, but I think maybe waiting for the Vikings to win a Super Bowl for 65 years is enough.
You think?
65 years, and they've never won one Super Bowl.
They haven't even been to one since, what was 77, right? January 77. So the 76 season. I mean, there are generations of people that don't even know what the Vikings in a Super Bowl looks like.
There might be a couple of them in studio right now.
Yeah. Super Bowl appearance that you speak of.
But I mean, I'm 55 and I barely remember that game.
I remember it. Well, first of all, I wasn't even a football fan until my brother Terry got home from the Marine Corps, and he said, "How come you're not watching the Vikings?" I said, "What's that?" And I was not very old. I know, but then after watching with my brother Terry, I was locked in for many, many years until about this year, and I just 14 victories, and you got your ass handed to you in the playoffs.
First round.
First round
Game. Last 2 games, you absolutely melted down. And then what was maddening on Saturday night was watching Washington go into Detroit and put up all those points.
Yeah.
Against the Lions defense that we talked about this on the show was decimated. So like that's what we thought the Vikings could,
Yep.
Can you score 35?
Oh, it's a little, well, at least the Twins. Oh, that's right. 81.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got Twins Fest though, Tom. We got Twins Fest coming up.
I guess it was 91, not 81.
91.
I misspoke.
87 and 91. Come on.
91, yeah.
Don't get greedy, huh?
Well, it's only 35 years ago, so, thanks.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Or 34, I better correct myself again. But I just, sports in Minnesota, I still, every time I see Louie Nanny, and I love the Nanny family. They've been great friends forever. Tino Lettieri and I are really good friends. But every time I look at Louie sitting across a dinner table from me, I go, I don't say it to them because I'm too polite. But I go,
Yep.
this is Minnesota, the state of hockey.
Yep.
That's never won a Stanley Cup.
And at least the North Stars got to 2.
Never won them.
So the North Stars were here. Let's go back for a second. So the North Stars were here. They were expansion team in 67, 68, and they left after 93. Okay.
Is that long ago already?
Yeah. It's 30. So they made the Stanley Cup Finals in 81 and 91. The Wild has now been here since 2000, and the farthest they got was the Western Conference Finals in their 3rd season.
Yep.
And so they're starting to. I mean, it's been a while now. It's not like they're still a new team.
Well, Norm gave me a call, wanted to meet with me, and I cannot believe it was 35 years ago or whatever now. But I sat there, and I've told you this story before. The whole time he was talking about moving to Dallas. Tom, what do you think of this? I'd like to keep him here, but we're just not getting any response. The whole time, a hair about this long was going back and forth out of his nose. Tom, I'd like to keep the team here, but I just can't. I mean, why? There were 3 other people at the table. Would somebody who works for him tell him, you got a big hair coming down out of you?
They were afraid of him.
Oh, they were. Oh, absolutely.
He'd fire him.
Yep, he would fire anyone. But yeah, we're sitting. What's the name of that place? Mike Jennings used to own it. Red, not the Red Coach Inn. Or maybe that was the Red Coach. Was it?
On Excelsior?
Yeah. It was in one of those bars.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I think it's a liquor store now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I've known that family forever and ever. Mike's a really good friend, as a matter of fact. Does still really well in the restaurant business still. But my memories of sports would be when I was about 4 or 5 years old. The Lakers were winning everything. The Minneapolis Lakers.
Yep.
They were winning everything, but I was like 4 years old, so I didn't give a rat's ass.
Right.
And then I believe Sid at one point was the president of the team.
He definitely played a role in running the team. I don't know what his title was. It might have been GM. I'm not sure. And back then, I don't know that it was a big deal, but he definitely helped run that team.
He did indeed, no question. But so at least our college. Oh, that's right. They don't win shit either.
Yeah, if you weren't alive, basically, if you missed 87 and 91 on both sides of it, you don't got squat for our men's teams.
And they still didn't win much. They got there, but they didn't win.
Yeah.
The Twins did, yes.
The Twins did, but I'm just saying, like, the Vikings got to the Super Bowl, so that, yes, if you'd like to see the Vikings in a Super Bowl and don't care the result, then the 70s were for you, but it's not like it paid it's not like it paid itself off.
Yeah, if you like getting almost over the hump, great sports town to be a part of.
Yeah.
In Minnesota.
Yep. So, and why is that? Does anybody know what? There's a lot of money here. There's a lot of support here. The Minnesotans love their sports. Why can't they win anything?
Well, I don't think, from a professional standpoint, I don't think it has a thing to do with like the support. I think it just has to do with either general ineptitude or the Vikings are the poster child because like in 98, you're 15-1. You get to the conference championship game. You're on the you should, you're kicking a field goal to go up by 10. That's what people forget. That was not like the game-winning kick. That was to go up by 10 to basically seal it away, and you can't make that. 2009, you got the far pass at the Superdome. It's
you skipped over what was it, like 2000 was like 41 donut.
Yeah, but that was but that was so bad. I don't even include those as true heartbreaks because when you get drilled, like in 2017 in the conference championship game in Philadelphia, right? Mm-hmm. They scored first, and then they got they got the bleep kicked out of them from that point on. I'm talking about the games where it's like, oh, okay, they're on the verge of winning.
Yeah, Blair Walsh's missed field goal at TCF against Seattle. Like, it's just it hurts. Yeah,
I tried to give him a tip when I first met all these owners of all these teams, like in 1986, 87.
Yep.
When the KQ Morning Show started, and I would meet with these guys, I said, you got to do what the North High Polars do. You got to play your games at North High School because nobody wants to come there and play because it's too dangerous, so you get an automatic win. Can't you set that up in professional sports too, just like high school?
That might be a difficult one to pull off.
Might be
the Rams might not agree to that plan.
I suppose you're right. I just wish I've been waiting my whole life since, again, Terry got back from the Marine Corps for this team to win, and they just 14 wins, and you got crushed in your last 2 games. Why does it happen to Uncle Tommy over and over and over again?
I think there's a lot of people with the same question.
I suppose that's
but
true.
the sad thing is, at the end of the day, are you genuinely shocked? Like
No.
that's the thing. Like we are the proverbial Charlie Brown, Lucy with the football. We know it's going to get pulled, and we still fall for it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I did notice one thing. Well, it was pointed out to me by Catherine. Catherine pointed it out at first.
Yeah.
She said, are they trying to set up Kansas City for a loss somehow? And I said, why do you say that? He said, because Kansas City is the only team that's not on the East Coast.
Oh, no, but tell her no. They're going to make sure that Mahomes and the Chiefs win, because I don't know, you didn't watch the games, but there were a couple of roughing calls on Mahomes on Saturday. There was one that was just egregious. Two Texans players collided like above him, so he's sliding, right? So they go in for the tackle, and if one of them had hit him, it might have been a penalty, but it was friendly fire. So the 2 Texans players collide, and they still drew a flag for an infraction on Mahomes, who, as far as I could tell on replay, they completely missed.
I saw that play. I saw that in the news later night. It didn't come even close to him.
No, and they hit each other. Like, you would need to have a penalty that you cannot, that if you have a helmet-to-helmet contact with a teammate, it's a flag. And as far as I know, that penalty does not exist, but they still threw the penalty flag.
1964, I think it was, when I watched my first Viking game because my brother had couldn't come back into town. And a neighbor came by, and I came to pick, he wanted to borrow a pot or something, Why don't you go buy a pot? If you want to cook something, why don't you buy cookware? That'd be a good idea. He looks at the screen and goes, what are you doing? I said, just watching the Minnesota Vikings. He goes, the Minnesota Vikings? What's that? I said, they've been around at that time like 4 or 5 years already, right?
Yeah, yes.
They'll never be as good as the Duluth Eskimos, I'll tell you that.
Oh, he's an old crusty guy, huh?
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah. He wasn't wrong. You're absolutely right. Duluth Eskimos won, didn't they? I think.
I have no idea, but I know that they did exist, and he's technically not wrong. Kevin's right when it comes to championships, because it might be 0-0. That's funny. So that's an old crusty guy who was trying to get a pot from you, huh?
He was probably about 100 years old in 1964, so there you have it. It was a while.
That's impressive, then.
But yeah, Duluth Eskimos. They were the first professional football team in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. So, what is there anything going on in sports that's going to make me tear up?
Tear up?
Yeah. By following them, I just fall apart and start crying because they never win.
No, you're too hardened to it by now.
I am. I suppose that's probably true, but
you are. No. There's nothing. There's nothing. I mean, the Wild won. The Wolves lost. Nah, there's nothing worth crying about.
Oh, there you go. How about women's sports? They win, don't they?
They do win. The Lynx.
There you go.
Although the Lynx have championships, but they were a game away from a championship this past summer, and of course we all know it didn't work out. So
screwed out of a championship.
Yeah, but perhaps they're joining the list, Heaven. Perhaps they're joining the list. They're like, why should we win? No one else can. Let's join in the list of heartbreaks.
We work way too hard at this.
Yeah, God. People will still follow us because clearly in this town that's been proven.
Yep, it is true. Well, Judd, we'll slug through, push through for the rest of the week, and we'll just try to figure it all out. Can we ever get a team to win in this state?
We'll talk tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
Some more therapy, okay?
It is therapy for me, I will tell you that.
It's therapy for us all. See you guys.
Thanks, pal.
See ya. Bye.
Judd Zulgad, SKOR North. Ladies and gentlemen, take a break. Be right back. Some other Hunyuck's coming on next. He's like a news guy or something. Isn't that right?
He tries to be.
Oh, he tries to be a news. I like that take. I watched him this morning on the news, and I did see that it was 19 below zero, and I'm like, holy God, that's a little chilly.
Yeah, I walked out of the house and it was minus 20 right now. I got it's 17 below, and I always like looking at the
feels like
only minus 18. So
really,
wind's not howling this morning, thankfully.
That's good. I'm glad to hear the wind's not howling. Absolutely. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Livia with exciting news. I want to introduce you to the new Livia. Livia's taken weight loss to the next level. The same trusted team of registered dietitians, nutritionists, registered nurses you know and love now offers even more tools for success. One thing I like about it myself, well, you can't see it because the commercial's up and running, but I like the fact that I lost that hangy stuff here. I almost said hangy, something else, but that helps out. I like that a lot. At Livia Weight Control Centers, they do weight loss differently because everyone's needs are unique, and that's a very, very important point. Everybody's needs are unique. Their you-centric approach means a personalized, comprehensive nutrition and lifestyle plan created just for you. As I said, I lost 80 pounds the first go-round, and as soon as we're pretty much through the holiday, Viking, blah, blah, blah season, so I'm going to get started again. I think I'll be in Minnesota on the 13th of February, so I think maybe that'd be a good week to start again. You know what I'm saying? Join today, get 25% off Livia's award-winning program. Trust the local experts who've been helping clients lose weight and keep it off for over 15 years. With 9 convenient Livia centers, there's never been a better time to start. Visit Livia.com or call 855-GO-LIVIA to schedule your free consultation. Don't wait. Let's make this your year to succeed. Livia. We do weight loss differently.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said, so why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Watched the news this morning with you.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. You did it not only, it was beyond pretty good. You guys did a good job, It
was all right. I think we did okay.
All right, that was it.
Everything's frozen, so it's hard. Things don't work.
I understand that. No question about it. But, yeah, I thought it was a good newscast, moving forward. Not a lot of complaining.
Well, it's already begun with Donald Trump in office. We are the lamestream media is already evil again. It only took a couple hours. I've been seeing that all over the socials.
That was it. So everybody hates the news now?
Well, because the news, we all voted. We got together and we said we all hate Donald Trump, and so that because we did that, then of course everybody hates us. So
I have a question for you, though.
Yes.
And I'm very serious about it. I've never met Joe Biden. I've known Donald Trump because he came on my show for the first time for Art of the Deal. So what year was that? About 1806? That was a long time.
86? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was about 86, 87, somewhere in there, wasn't it? The Art of the Deal? Somewhere
it's been a minute.
Been a minute.
87.
So it was 87.
Yep.
So it was 1 year after the KQ morning show started. He came on, so I've known him since then and all the rest of it. I just... Not a big fan politically, but I'm not a big fan of Biden politically either. I think they're both a couple of scam artists when it comes to power like that. I got to be honest with you, I don't think either one of those two guys handle power very well. Does that make sense to you?
Well, they definitely handle it in different ways.
Do they? I thought it was all about me.
Well,
That's all the same way to me.
Forward facing, yes. Yeah. I hear what you're saying, Tom.
I just wish they would stop pissing our money away, and that's both parties. Could we just leave the money alone? How about that part? That'd be
well. On that note, Vivek Ramaswamy was going to run that Department of Doge or whatever it is, and he's already out. Trump's hasn't even had a full day in office, and he's out. So Elon's going to run that. Yeah, he's going to run for Ohio governor. It sounds like
Ohio governor.
So,
yeah, there you go. There you have it.
I mean, that's just one example of things that were promised, and I think that to me comes down to if he's got more political aspirations. He probably doesn't have time to mess around with the Doge thing, but I mean, listen. Well, I was going to say what you want about Elon and whatever. The dude's smart. And he knows how to make money. And
$485 billion. That's pretty good.
I don't mind a guy like that looking over my books. If Elon were to go ahead and take control of my Wells Fargo checking account with a balance of about $500 right now.
There you go.
And go through it. I would welcome that.
Yeah, he's got to figure out how to wave.
Yeah, he's got to figure out these hand gestures first. But other than
I don't understand what I did finally look at that, and then they had all these other people doing the exact same thing over the years. Why would you? Because I think what they all mean to be doing is from my heart to you, but it looks like the Nazi salute to me.
Yeah, if you're going to be on a stage at a presidential inauguration with thousands of cameras and eyeballs on you, I feel like there's got to be some sort of awareness to not do very specific gestures, even if it's not what you're intending. Like you're not going to flip somebody off. You're not going to do what is connotated with some pretty bad stuff over in Europe in the late 30s and early 40s. It's I feel like the awareness there was a little lackadaisical.
Lackadaisical. There's no S.
Well, I'm a little lackadaisical when it comes to.
I'm a little lackadaisical. No, I mean, I was sent a list of all these people, and it said, I mean, it's everybody from him to Hillary Clinton and all these other. Apparently, a lot of people have done that. I don't know why they wouldn't think through. And I'm not saying, from my heart to you, that's a nice thing, but the fact that most people think that's the Nazi salute, it might not be a good idea to do that.
I didn't see that. I'd like to see it in real time. I've just seen the picture. And I also think it's very easy to get a screen grab of something or a picture again, I would like to see the entire, what exactly happened. I haven't seen the video yet. If I saw the video and it seemed very obvious that that's what he was doing, then I would think that would be a bit of a stumble.
Well, I don't know why you would do that. It makes no sense to me. Why don't you think that through before you're not only the national news, but the international news?
Right.
There's
a million different ways to wave at somebody.
Yes.
A lot.
You could even be this guy. Like even that would be a better
finger guns would have been a million times better.
Blows them out and holsters them.
But imagine if I did that and it got caught in a screen grab. Okay, here it is, front page. news anchor, gun gesture, blah, 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 blah. But when you're doing it like this, you see what I'm saying? What the context is in the video and how it makes a difference?
Yeah, I don't know. People do that kind of stuff all the time. And would you just pay attention for Christ's sake? I honestly, why you would even do that? And as I said, because of being the host of this show all the time, and I'm being on the queue for so many years, I get tons of people sending me those things. And so far this morning, I've gotten like about 20 different people doing that same thing. They're all politicians, some women, some men. Does that supposed to prove a point to me? I don't think any of them should have done it. Use your head, for God's sake. You know, like if I'm going to go and speak to the Women's League, during my speech, I'm not going, oh, yeah? What do you think of that action right there? Huh? Do the old wiener deal. You don't do that, do you? You know what I'm seriously.
No, you definitely don't. You do not do that. No.
That's all I'm saying. You know, Greg, give us, what do you think? Take this home with you. You know, grab your crotch, that kind of deal.
You definitely would not do that.
Why? Why do people do those things? Why did he do that? It makes no sense why he did it.
No, especially when you knew everybody was going to scrutinize every last detail of this anyway. It should have been the most buttoned up procedure. Let's get in and out.
Hands in pockets.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be better. It's like, hey, you know what happened?
Of a completely different note, in the local news today, the most read story in the Star Tribune right now is the abrupt closing of Revival and its 3 restaurants, which I was pretty surprised. Yeah.
Revival closed their restaurants?
Yes.
Why?
They're not saying. The quote on social media was, owning a restaurant is one of the toughest journeys.
Oh, it is. There's no question about it. I've owned restaurants through the years and all the rest of it, and it's a massive pain in the ass. I will tell you it is.
Well, and they were so big for so long, and I mean, I don't know if things like that, if people just like, I guess I don't like fried chicken anymore. Like, dude, I think Revival's one of the best freaking. I love Revival. Like, everything about them was good. I was surprised to see that, but I mean, you don't know what kind of forces they're under, or what they're, you know, what kind of crowds they've been getting. Or I know the last time I was in the one on St. Paul was probably about 4 months ago, and there's like 2 people in there.
I know.
So I don't know. It's a tough business.
Well, and the other part of that business that's really, really well, Catherine and I went to lunch yesterday, had a little lunch, and I had a salad. I mean, it was a lobster salad, but you know, it might be a little more expensive for lobster than shrimp, but probably not that much, is it? Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. But I got the bill, and my salad was $50.
Damn.
I mean, people cannot afford to eat a salad for $50, for God's sake.
No, definitely not.
I mean, seriously. Hey, can I get a BLT? Well, it's going to be $125. I just got to make sure you know that. I mean, it's like, what?
Well, the flip side of that is that's why you see like your McDonald's was getting a lot of crap for being too expensive, and they rolled out recently a brand new like $5 menu. And
good,
you know, the flip side is you see these bigger restaurant chains or the fast food places going, wait, we can still do something, and it can be fairly cheap. And I don't know, I guess you wonder if a place like Revival, which was not cheap, it wasn't like, you know, going downtown and having a steak or something, but it's still for a lunch spot. I don't know, maybe the economic forces kind of cut into them, and people just didn't have the money to spend $25 for a really good chicken sandwich. But I don't know.
What is it? There was a stat. I don't know if we looked at it on this show or it was on the family part, but we looked at something, and I think it's like 96% of America doesn't make enough money to exist any longer. So in other words, unless you're both working, the mother and the father, you're going to have a tough time making it. That single family income deal does not work anymore if you have a family.
No, not, and there might be, well, like you said, whatever percentage you said. I think there are some places you could live in the country where you might be able to get by with that. But if that's the case, if if that's the case, like let's say the housing's cheaper there or whatever, because that would be a big factor, you're probably not getting paid as much. So what you can afford is probably less too. So.
All right, I cannot afford to keep a news anchor much longer. You're too expensive, and I know you've got work to do. So,
It's true. It's true. 345 school closings, I think we had on our website today. So just to confirm, Ken was saying we haven't had a cold burst like this for like 4 years where they actually canceled school because of cold.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, Chris, let me just say, good to see you. Why would you do that? I still don't understand why you would do that. It makes no sense to me.
I want to see the video before I get too hyper about that story.
Yeah, I know. And apparently they showed, I didn't sit down and watch them all. A lot of people do a lot of research. Yeah. And apparently just about everyone has done that. And I still don't know why anyone would do that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, tomorrow's a new day.
How about if I just give you the finger when I say goodbye? How about that?
I will not be offended in the least.
Okay, Pally. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. We shall take a break. Be right back. A little news, a little information. As I say goodbye, I'll give you the finger. See how that flies. You know.
Yeah.
I was thinking about if you guys had a choice, the two of you, instead of, doing hit the thing and do that, I mean, is there anything else that bad? Because that might be the worst signal of all time. Is there anything worse than that? I mean, even giving somebody the finger's not as bad as that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Tevin and I were talking about before even we got on the kind of Zoom call here with you today, which is just like the awareness to do that is so lacking. You could have done literally, I think, any other gesture, and you could have just played that off as like, oh, I'm just joking around. But that is interpreted in such a different way that I don't blame all of these news outlets for having conversations about it.
Yeah, but you're a communist anyway, so no matter what he did, you'd hate him anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, granted, yes, I'm biased. I also already disliked the guy.
And I don't understand, why do you hate all conservatives, and why do conservatives hate all Democrats? I don't understand how you can hate a whole group of people. It makes no sense to me.
Now you're pushing the line. I don't dislike all conservatives. I see eye to eye, I think, on a lot of issues that conservatives have. I would say I definitely am more. I'm a step or two towards the liberal side of things, but I can see both sides just fine. Elon Musk as a person, I just really dislike.
You and most people.
And I think it's warranted.
But as part of that, because he's worth $460 billion.
Yeah. And then for a guy for a guy who set up shop in California for Tesla and SpaceX for a long time to not, to my knowledge, donate a single cent to the wildfire relief when you're the richest man on earth. Not that it's necessarily his duty, but also you could spare a couple bucks and just help out a bit.
Well, did they kick him out of California and moved him to Texas?
I believe he left willingly.
Oh, did he? Because I don't pay attention to any of that stuff because my friends are annoying enough. I don't need to pay attention to people I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also one of those things where, similar to like the Paul brothers or like Mr. Beast, everything I know about him is forced upon me. I don't want to learn more information. He's just somehow always in the news.
Oh, who is that?
Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because he's the richest man in the world.
Yeah. Like, I don't want more information. It's just getting forced down my throat.
Like I said, I've known Donald Trump for 40 years. Not my kind of guy. He just isn't.
Yeah, that's all right.
You know, I've had lunch with him when he was president of the United States, the whole deal. I don't hate him. I don't like him. I pointed that out this morning in some social media stuff. I just, Biden and Trump are not my kind of people. Neither one of them's my kind of guy. I think both of them like to lie a lot, which I'm not a real big fan of.
Yeah, it seems to be a theme with politicians, though.
Well, the problem I have with that whole situation is I lie on a daily basis because every time I see somebody, I go, hey, good to see you. So anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting that you start off every show. Hey, guys, how are you? Good to see you.
Just lie in your ass. Oh, great to see you. I'm glad you're back. Wonderful. I don't know. I do you think that people are just overreacting to all this?
I think yes and no.
Probably.
I think there's a certain demographic of people that definitely, like Tevin was talking about earlier, like they're looking at the inauguration cover yesterday and they're looking for like every off gesture, somebody sneezing at the wrong time, or somebody could get a bad night's sleep and they're yawning during some other, and then they're taking that the wrong way. But also I think there is some stuff that absolutely can be criticized and talked about in a way that might send some uproar through people.
Yeah, so I mean, Elon Musk, whether he meant for it to be offensive or not, blah 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 blah, that didn't bother me as much as, okay, Melania, what's with the hat?
Everybody was making fun of her because Trump tried to give her a kiss with a hat and brim got away. They're like, she wore that hat on purpose.
Why would she wear that hat, though? I mean, God bless you. You be you. I got no problem with that. And then I got to ask the other thing. Is his kid Barron Trump? First of all, you don't name your kid Barron, because Barron has two meanings, different spelling, but two meanings. Either you're a big shot or you have nothing.
All I know is the Timberwolves might need that guy in the post because he's like 6'7".
He's like 6'7", and then he had the Italian style hair yesterday. Did you notice that? He did the slick back Italian look.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. Look, I've met a lot of politicians in my life. I have, got to be honest with you, 2 of them that are friends of mine over the years, and that's from the last 55, 60 years. Most of them I don't care for, and that's just how it is. I don't like politicians. A couple of them. If you're a decent person, then I like you, right?
Yeah,
right.
Why is Judd in here? He's trolling for chow that I might have dropped.
He's like,
is that why he's in here? A bunch of crumbs all over the floor. Oh, Dad's in there. Let me in there so I can chow down. Like, okay. But anyway, I kind of like the fact that, because I would guarantee you that if this subject comes up on most morning shows this morning, there are people going to be arguing about it. There's no reason to argue. It is what it is. Like I said, 33% of my friends are Democrats, 33% of my friends are Republicans, 33% of my friends are independents. So I got 1%, which is me. I just don't get worked up about stuff like that. I got friends on all sides.
Yeah. And it's not changing anything the more you argue. Like at this point, it's like we all got to try and move forward the best we can. And people that kind of go against that and want to halt everything. And eventually the country's just going to suffer because we just are in a standstill for 4 years, pissing and moaning about who's better.
Speaking of pissing and moaning.
Is that a cue for the bathroom?
Hey, listen, I'll see you guys. First of all, I have a question for you. Look at this move. I mean, why would you ever do that anyway?
It's like the most iconic gesture.
Weird.
Like you can, like the most notable gesture, other than like I don't know, like the WWE crotch chop. Like what are you doing?
Like all you need to do is see like one documentary about that World War II, or read one book, or even like Indiana Jones. Like he fights Nazis. People know what that symbol is, and then also he did it twice. He turned around and he did it to the crowd.
Oh, did he do it again?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Somebody sent me the first screenshot, and I was like, okay, here we go. And then like I watched the video, and I was like, oh, he did it twice. Like, yeah, I don't know what in the world he was thinking. Like, this is ridiculous.
He's a pretty, I don't know. Like, I think Chris is right. I think he does know a lot of stuff, but I think also he maybe because he's very smart, struggles with like some social
awareness.
Stuff.
Yeah, probably.
So sometimes he might be a reactionary, like that's just what he's feeling. But then he did it a second time, and it's like, well, that seems more choreographed, and you knew you were going to.
Yeah.
So what it's
Yeah, I didn't know he did it twice until you just told me that. I had no that's the kind of thing when I see it's like, oh God, why don't even bother to look at it because it's going to be nothing but bad luck anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like it as much as it is something that I think we all want to just be like, let's just move on. I think it also is worth a discussion, and then we're going to move on.
No, I understand that. I understand it, and I am already receiving. I was just looking at my watch. There's already about 35 to 40 other politicians doing the same thing over the last 35 years. So I'm like, what are you sending that to me for? I'm not making a judgment. I think it was stupid, no matter what his intention was, to do that was stupid. But that's how people are, I guess. Look, let me close with this.
Okay.
And I always think about this whenever World War II comes up, or, the Nazis, the thing and all the rest of it. I was very good friends. Matter of fact, she was a Hubbard employee way back in the day. And she and I would go to dinner and lunch and stuff all the time. We weren't really dating. We were just kind of friends. And so this had to be 50 years ago. I think I was, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But last name was Gitler, Gitler, which is going to give you enough trouble the way it is. But she was also Jewish. Can you imagine being a Jew named Gitler? That had to be a little tough to handle, I would think.
Yeah, that would definitely be tough to handle. And Elon, just to kind of put a bow on his little thing, I guess he did tweet out as everybody was telling him, like, whatever, Nazi signs. And he said they need to do better. They need better dirty tricks than everyone. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired. So he didn't even address, doing it. But
all you got to say, man, is just, look, I made the wrong gesture. I didn't intend it that way. And everyone moves on. But it makes me more suspicious about stuff when you dig your heels in and try to divert.
Well, one thing I would say, to make $465 billion, you have to have a massive ego anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about intelligence and hard work and strength. You got to have a big ass ego to make money like that, man. No doubt about it. So, in any case, we'll take a break. But speaking of big egos. See, I'm not even going to finish that. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser. It's time for Bradshaw and Bryant. At this time of year, something that we might not think about, slipping and falling on ice when you're out, or worse, someone slipping and falling on your property. Property owners are legally responsible for maintaining a safe environment for visitors. You can post a caution sign or de-ice the area. Failing to do either and somebody getting injured because of your lack of safety precaution can be considered negligent. If someone does slip and fall and suffers an injury, they have a certain amount of time to file a claim, or you lose your right to collect any damages for your injury. If this happens to you, contact an experienced attorney right away. It's free to meet to go over your case. Contact Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. I hope this never happens to you, but if it does, Mike Bryant is the one I recommend to all my friends and listeners.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you. They're making it through. Mike Lindell and his employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. Yes, I said $14.98. I cannot believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get My Body Pillows for $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TOM or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now is only $14.98. Queens at $18.98 and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, orders $75 or more ship absolutely free. MyPillow, baby. That's all I got to say.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back. Do we have a special talent on the air right now?
We're about to here in a couple minutes. I called him during the break to get him on the horn here. And he told me I needed to wait a couple minutes and call him back because he was at the wrong phone. So if you two want to schmooze here for about 30, 60 seconds, I will get him back on the line.
Well, yeah. I could bring something up because as I was going down the hall, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I got several text messages that said that he actually whispered "my heart to you" when he did that. But I don't know if he did or not because I didn't see it live. I've seen a recording of it, but without any audio.
Yeah, I would assume that it's something like that because I highly doubt that they're on Inauguration Day debuting that this is secretly the Nazi party. I don't think that doesn't seem like that's really the most logical thing to do. So I think it was something that was very similar to the salute, but I don't think that he's a Nazi.
Well, I'm glad that you looked at it that way because I've only seen a little bit of it. But I mean, I looked at it. Hillary Clinton did it. I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton's not doing the Nazi sign.
I was going to say, when you said that other people have done it, I feel like I've seen a picture with Hillary Clinton, like with her arms stretched out, either waving, where you could have said, "Oh, that looks like a Nazi salute as well." So everybody,
to me, it doesn't
has a slip up.
I don't know. So good. So we found out so far while you're gone, AJ, that neither Elon Musk nor Hillary Clinton are Nazis. So that's good.
Oh God, thankfully we got to the bottom of that.
No question about it. Tell me who's going to be on next.
Well, we've got Mr. Arnold on the line, I think.
Nine.
Sounds like he's rolling around or something.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing, Arnold? Mr. Arnold.
Well, I was outside, and my iWatch was not getting real good reception. I had to switch to my iPhone.
Yep.
Where I get much better reception.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So we got to get your take and get it out of the way. I did not see it live. I've seen a little bit of it. People are accusing Elon Musk of giving the Nazi symbol, but other people are saying that he said "from my heart to yours." I don't know. I've not heard the audio. I've only seen the video once. So what's your take on this, Josh, as a nice Jewish boy in America today?
I haven't seen anything. So I can have no comment on Elon Musk.
Yeah, I don't know.
Other than the guy is, I think, the richest man in the world.
He is, yep.
He is brilliant. He is probably somewhere on some spectrum.
Yep. Oh, yes.
And he's very tall.
And I didn't know he was very tall because Donald Trump's pretty tall himself, so maybe that's why I didn't know Elon Musk was tall.
Well, and everybody that was standing on the platform, we'll say the inaugural platform, he stood a lot taller than most of the people he was around.
He's 6'2".
So
yeah, 6'2" is above average, yep.
Either that or there are a lot of very, very short people in Washington, D.C.
Well, I will tell you this. I did just find out about a month ago, all through my life since I was about 11 years old, I was 6'1". I'm now 5'11". What the hell is that?
Compression.
Compression. It's just all the weight on my shoulders. Is that what you're saying? I'm carrying the world.
It's carrying the world on your shoulders.
I knew it. I knew it was something like that. No question about it. But
I mean, that's what is that guy's name? Sisyphus.
Yes.
The guy that pushed the rock up the hill.
Sisyphus.
Numerous times.
Yep.
Except you're the one that's carrying the rock up the hill.
Yep.
And after a while, that rock will compress all your vertebrae.
Which is very, very unfortunate.
The way that you could change that is you get on one of those incline boards, and that will stretch your spine out.
That's what I should. And by the way, it's one of those situations. I posted this morning that 33% of my friends are Democrats, 33% of my friends are Republicans, and 33% of my friends are pretty centrist about the whole deal. So I got 1% of all the people that I know that I can turn to and get advice from, because apparently I've made all the wrong choices by being friends with everyone.
Well, you can be who you're friends with whoever you want to be friends with, as long as they share a lot of your values, then you'll have some pretty good friendships.
That's exactly the point.
Good.
Yep.
It's always good to have friends with different points of view. It's just that I have found, and I can almost I probably can put several dates on it, when your politics got in the way of friendships. And all of a sudden it was, oh, you don't like Bill Clinton? We can't be friends with you. Excuse me?
I know. It's like, what?
I can't be friends with you? All right. If that's how shallow you are,
well,
fine. The next one was how could you vote for that idiot George Bush? You are an idiot. I can't be friends with you. Then the next one was, oh, what do you mean? You didn't vote for the black man? Horror upon horrors.
Shame.
You're a racist. We can't be friends with you.
Devin's turning on you right now.
All right. So once that happened, some of those people, I said, hey, let's go. How about having dinner at J.D. Hoyt's? Oh, we can't go there. What do you mean you can't go to J.D. Hoyt's? Well, Well, what do I know? J.D. Hoyt's is, I'm not the one that I don't eat pork, but I love going to J.D. Hoyt.
So just because they have pork, you can't go there?
Yeah. I've never had a bad meal at J.D. Hoyt. Oh, who eats that kind of food. Well, what kind of food? Well, who eats fried chicken and ribs.
Oh, God.
I know. Who
Devin,
eats
get out of the building.
fried chicken and ribs? Well, those people from North Minneapolis, we can't be around those people. I said, whoa, time out. Didn't you vote for Barack Obama? Well, yes, he's a black man. So why can't you be around blacks? Oh, we can't be around blacks.
I know.
Oh, I see. So I'm the racist because I didn't vote for a Democrat? Oh.
I know I'm following your point.
I can go on and on.
I know.
And then if I really talk, well, Trump is president. Why, he's the destroyer of democracy. I can't live in this country, yada, yada, yada. And I just said, hey, I've been voting since Richard Nixon's second term. I did not vote for Richard Nixon, nor did I vote for George McGovern. I put a write-in candidate in. At the time, it was Dr. Spock.
That's a pretty good pick. I like that pick.
I was just, at that time, I was young and dumb and just pissed off at a lot of things. But in all that time, nothing has really changed well, a lot of things have changed economically in my life. Things have only gotten better.
Good.
So if I were to look at what's happened in the stock markets over that period of time from 1972 until today, for me, for my clients, things have only gotten better regardless who has been in office. The people who want to divide us, not only are, we'll say, a lot of politicians and a lot of talking heads on TV. So what I've told some of these people who, can't listen to the news for the next 4 years, fine, turn off the news,
then don't watch
turn on a movie.
Yep.
There are a lot of good movies out there. There are a lot of good TV shows out there. I'm not going to tell you that, Taylor Sheridan is maybe he is the most liberal person around. Maybe he just writes stories that want to tell some, we'll say, minor truths out there to a lot of woke individuals including some of the best lines that I have seen that show up in Landman.
I
when
love
the
Landman.
lead character, played by Billy Bob Thornton, makes some comments about the uses of oil.
Mm-hmm.
Or Yellowstone, which in my mind attacks some of the people who want to take their way of life from the coasts and transform it to, we'll say, Montana, and disturb somebody else's way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates some major problems.
I don't know why. It makes no sense to me that it creates problems. Like I said, I've run, and Tevin and I have talked about this in the past, that because I grew up, on Plymouth Avenue and then West Broadway, 26th Avenue, those kind of places, and then succeeded in life after, graduating at 16. People get very pissed off at me because I happen to succeed coming out of that neighborhood. They don't like that. It's like, why?
Well,
Why?
I'll tell you what, there's probably a lot of people in that neighborhood who don't like it that you have succeeded.
That's very true. Yes.
And there are a lot of people who do not. And that's one of the things that one of the many things that I found when I moved here. Oh, you're not part of our class and you succeeded. We don't want anything to do with you.
That's very true. That still does happen to this day, which is unfortunate.
And I find, grow up, really.
There you go.
And I can extend that to listening to the talking heads as they ran down the people that were on the dais during the inauguration. Oh, look at all those billionaires, those new oligarchs who are coming on bended knee to Trump. Why? There's Elon Musk. There's Jeff Bezos. There's Tim Cook. There's and ran down all these very successful business people who, I'm not going to say started with nothing, but did not come from the, we'll say the class of the New England Brahmins. They were not descended from the Kennedys or the Cargills.
Right.
These are people who created businesses or worked their way up in a business and made that business very, very successful. And these people want to see the president succeed, and they want see their businesses succeed. We are going right now, or during a transformation, from one of the most anti-business administrations to one of the more pro-business administrations around. And that's going to have a lot of, we'll say, up and down in dealing with big government. And you'll see a lot of knocking of heads, and probably, and I've stated this, before, I think this year there's going to be a lot more market volatility than in previous years.
Oh, yeah.
For a host of reasons. And that would revolve around we'll call it Trump's economic policies relating to trade and tariffs, taxes, and immigration. And I'll include in, we'll say, the trade and tariffs, the big boost for energy production here in the United States. And I think that's all part of his, we'll say, Make America Great plan.
Works for me. Making anything great works for me, no question about it. Are you, so am I going to see you on Friday? Is that this Friday?
I'm going to see you on Friday. You've got my cousin made a 1 o'clock reservation. I think the restaurant is called Prime Catch.
I think it is. We've been there a few times.
We've been there a few times. So my cousin Debbie and my mother and Annie, the SO, and I are looking forward to seeing you and Catherine.
I am as well. I'll close with this because of kind of what we were just talking about. I always love the show Criminal Minds. Catherine and I decided to start from season 1, episode 1, and watch it over again because it's such a great show. I had forgotten the line by the young kid on there, the brilliant young kid on there. He's talking to someone, and this guy's kind of staring at him. And so the young guy goes, I have an IQ of 186, and yes, I'm a genius. I thought, right out of the chute, you get that on Criminal Minds. But yeah, magnificent show, very well acted, very well done. And we will talk to you and see you on Friday.
We will look forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Josh Arnold. Oh, damn it. I forgot to ask him how do people reach out to him. I don't have the number in front of me. You guys know the number to reach out to him for investment advice?
How about this?
Oh, there, you're still there. Good. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
Hang up.
I got him.
All right. Ready?
I'm ready.
You can give me a call, 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You always get straight talk, not sugar-coated advice from me, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk. Past performances, always no guarantee. Future results, markets are always changing. Oh,
but yes, you are a genius. Are you going to say that at the end?
No, I won't say that.
Okay, we'll see you Friday.
I am not a member of Mensa.
Thank you. Talk to you later, Josh. Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.
We'll take a break, be right back. Another genius, KB2, will join us right after this. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you. They're making it through. Mike Lindell and his employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. Yes, I said $14.98. I cannot believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get My Body Pillows for $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TOM or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now is only $14.98. Queens at $18.98 and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, orders $75 or more, ship absolutely free. MyPillow, baby. That's all I got to say.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast, and I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Look at that. I slide in just right on time. What do you think of that action?
That's talent.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com and learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We just talked about, Catherine and I, last night, episode 1, season 1 of Criminal Minds. We decided to start it all over again. Television is the best it's ever been right now, I think. The fact that you can go back to all those old shows, and there's so many great new shows and that kind of deal. But I'm going to use that line from now on. When somebody stares at me, I'm going to go, yes, you're right. I'm a genius. I have an IQ of 189. And then just walk away. Still can't believe he said that. What's new with you, sister?
Well, in the time we've been gone, TikTok went away and came back.
And came back.
We talked about it on Friday. Yeah. So this is going to be a really interesting, I think, season to watch when it comes to social media because anyone who's been playing around the app, it does feel a little different. Have you guys, Tevin, AJ, have you guys gone back?
Yes.
And the algorithms are different, and there is clearly some sort of meta influence on the app. And I will say that, yes, they are clearly, they've joined the app, so they each have an account, but also there's now thought bubbles above our little profile photos, which are part of Instagram and Facebook. And nothing's been revealed as of yet, but I'm guessing maybe somehow it's been migrated to Meta servers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts or conspiracy theories on this?
Yeah, that's what somebody I saw was saying, was that they shut it down more as kind of like a, hey, it's a kind of more theatrical than anything, because I don't think they required it to actually like shut down, more just like, hey, it's going to come to an end. But they were saying like that was an opportunity for them to, during that time, migrate, get everything like synced together, and then, oh, hey, we're back online. Because also there wasn't like a big proclamation of like press the button at this exact time. It just kind of like randomly showed up again the next day around noon for everybody. It was just like, hey, by the way, we're back, and hope you missed us.
Yeah, and the first like hour or two back, it was like grainy photos from like your first generation iPhone. I was like, what is happening here?
There you go.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Obviously, I think a lot of people will take issue if Meta has somehow taken over TikTok, at least on the American side. I don't think that pleases a lot of people.
I have a question for you, because I've heard, I don't know, because I got off social media for a long time. For years and years. And I've heard that Facebook has lost a lot of its influence anyway. It's nowhere near as big as it used to be. That, what is the other one called again now?
Instagram?
The Elon Musk one.
Oh, I only call it Twitter, but he'll call it X.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It used to be Twitter, and now it's X. I go on that because they got a lot of people. I think it's pretty smart to pick people in your age group as the site you would go to, I would think. What is the other one? So there's Twitter,
TikTok,
or X, TikTok, and they're back.
Facebook, Snapchat.
There's a lot. That's a lot to deal with.
There are a lot. And a lot of it is by generational divide. Although I will say TikTok feels like there's a lot of different generations on there. Everyone's kind of found their people, I think. But Facebook is interesting because, yes, it was the original one that, I know we go back to MySpace and Friendster and things like that, but this is the one that really kind of captured the nation. But I think a lot of people don't love Mark Zuckerberg. They don't love Elon Musk.
Right.
And you have Blue Sky popping up. You have Mark Cuban working with Blue Sky to create something called Skylight, which is supposed to be like a more open platform like TikTok used to be. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this landscape plays out probably I think this is all going to happen pretty rapidly over the next year. There's another platform, Neptune, that's hoping to be an alternative to TikTok. So I'm curious because Neptune, another sort of another video app similar to TikTok. Okay. But the important thing is what is going to be that businesses and Hollywood enters the chat, because if they don't go to certain platforms, there's going to be no survival for them. So if you start seeing corporations and Hollywood sort of migrate over to, let's just pretend and say they all wind up over on Skylight, that's going to be the next hot thing, or Neptune. That will be the next hot thing.
Yeah, what's amazing about that is that all of this stuff, and I know maybe it's just me, but I think most people would be like this as well. Just talking about that kind of thing, and you say that one site, the thing that pops into my head every time I hear it called that, what it's called, North High School, 16 years old, I'm going to school, I'm late, very large guy who is the security guy at the high school. I'm walking up, he goes, Barnard, you're late again. I said, oh, I'm sorry. And he goes, yeah, well, TikTok, bitch. I think of that every time I hear TikTok.
TikTok, I know.
I've been laughing about that my whole life. Yeah, well, TikTok, bitch. Like, okay. Nice influence on a 16-year-old kid. By the way.
I'd be hightailing it into class.
Oh, he was a big fan. Well, George Foreman was one of our hall guards for a while.
Oh, wow.
I don't think you want to piss him off. He was a big fella.
Did he have 16 kids named George at the time?
I was thinking George 1, George 2, George 3. You're right. He did do that, didn't he?
He did. He named all of his kids after himself.
So
George, dinner time, and everyone comes running. It's kind of smart.
I suppose, yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose that going that route, I suppose it is kind of smart, isn't it? But
yeah, when your mom would be like, instead, and sometimes she would forget and she'd call us by the cats' names. Like she'd just be whatever name was on her mind, just what she would yell out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, Terry, Tom, Todd, Tony, and Troy were the 4 boys in my family. And I will tell you, and then, of course, Vicky and Bobby, my sisters. But every time my mother got mad at one of the boys, she'd go, Terry, Tom, Todd, Tony, Troy. She could never figure out which kid she was mad at.
I would just say the 4 T's. 4 T's.
5 T's.
5 T's. 5 T's.
Terry, Tom, Todd, Tony, and Troy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I would trip over those all the time. So I'd just be calling you the 5 T's. I'd be like, I made the mess. It's 5 T's.
So now that I've been back on social media for about a month now, I think it is something like that. Maybe 5 weeks. I don't know.
Well, wait, you've been on Facebook a while.
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to be on 2 sites. Is there one site I should just go on? I don't want to go on 5 sites. I don't need it.
Well, I would say the one to avoid is Twitter, to be honest. That is the one that's probably...
That's X?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, X is probably the one with the most... It's the most inflammatory. It's the most negative. It's the one with the least amount of fact-checking. Although, as I say this... We know that Meta just decided to take away third-party fact-checking as well.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. That's where he's been like very controversial over the last few weeks too. So we'll see what Facebook and Instagram devolve into as a result of this. Mm-hmm. We're just at the infancy stages of this lack of fact-checking. And I would have said TikTok is the one that's the most fun, but I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months.
Right.
It's kind of a weird limbo because you're expecting some sort of deal to be announced and you don't know behind the scenes what sort of like agreements and stuff. Because I've already seen in like the day or whatever that it's been back that if you search specific terms and whatnot, all of a sudden in the US, hey, there's no content regarding these certain search terms. Whereas if you're in the UK or you're in Canada outside of that like geo wall, it's like, hey, there's stuff here. But if you're in the US, all of a sudden you can't find that certain video. So
yeah, there's been some weird censorship all of a sudden. Like The Smallest Man in the Room by Taylor Swift. Oftentimes people would do that to refer to Donald Trump or Elon Musk. Suddenly gone.
One thing I will tell you is I don't understand why all these, and maybe it is just, being back on social media after taking some time off. People are more pissed off now on social media than they have ever been, and I mean by far. God, everybody's pissed off. What's the problem here?
People are mad at the world. People are mad.
Why?
And, well, there. I sit there and I look at what we've been going through in Los Angeles. In order to rebuild your home, even though you've been paying into insurance, you need a GoFundMe.
Right.
Or you have major surgery or an unexpected illness. Guess what? And even though you've been paying into insurance, what do you need? A GoFundMe. People are mad. They have spent their whole lives doing what we were told. You go to high school, you graduate, then you go to college, you get a great job, you get married, you have kids, and everything's fine. That life doesn't exist in that order or in what you've been told. Like if you get that college education, you're going to get a great paying job and you're fine. That doesn't play out for a lot of people.
I went to college for one day.
And look at you.
That's because I'm so pushy. That might be the reason for that.
And listen, we know, I think we all know now that like getting a college education isn't the end all be all. There's so many different avenues. For some people, it's better for them to go right into the workforce or to go into the military or go to trade school. And that is a good thing. I'll tell you right now, if to do it all over again, I'd be like, I'm going to be a plumber because you're always going to have a job.
Yeah.
You've got to trade. Sure. You're never going to run out of like pipes to fix. So you're good.
Yeah, I thought about that. Like electrician would be like a trade. I feel like just because always in business.
100%.
I don't know. I really wish people weren't so over the top angry. My God, people are angry.
Yeah, but we've been told one thing. We were sold the American dream, and the American dream doesn't exist the way we've grown up to believe. I understand why people are angry.
But see, I don't know what that's like because I got out of high school at 16. I went to college for one day. Is it because I'm just so pushy? Is that why I did?
No, I'm going to tell you, it's your generation. You were fortunate. Well,
that's true.
It's very true. Like I think the boomer, maybe some of the elder Gen X, but I will say that probably for younger Gen X on down, it has not played out that way. And it's been a struggle for so many people.
Is that because we changed our education system?
I think a lot of it has to do with how the economy went in the United States.
Starting when?
I think a lot of people will push it back to Reaganomics.
To Reaganomics? And I didn't pay any attention to that. What was Reaganomics?
That's a good, I think that there was a lot of deregulation.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that, created a lot of issues in the United States in terms of the economy. And when you sit there and push things, and we didn't take care of some of our veterans in that era. A lot of the hospitals closed down. We created, he was about like leaning out government, but in the end, did it help us 30 years down the road, 50 years down the road?
Right.
I don't think so.
Why did I have such a different life than everybody else? Because again, I never met him in person, but I talked to Jimmy Carter a couple of times on the phone. I just loved the guy. He's a very, very calm, easygoing, nice guy. A lot of people thought he was a disaster as a president. I don't know. I think all presidents are a disaster, to tell you the truth.
Pretty much.
But I mean, you don't have to have that big D or the big R by your name for me. I couldn't care less, and I posted about it today. So a third of my friends are Democrats, a third of my friends are Republicans, a third of my friends are independent. So I got 1% left for me. That's it.
Everyone's suffering. Like, let's just put it that way. Everyone's having a hard time in this economy.
I guess it is true.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
And I mean, you worked in an era of like when radio was just huge.
That's true.
I mean, you hit a real sweet spot, which is amazing. And if a kid now is graduating from college, would you be like, definitely go into radio? Would you recommend that?
No, not in the least, because it's in big trouble. No question about it.
You're in the Radio Hall of Fame, and you're telling the 22-year-old kid, don't go into radio.
Yeah, no, I understand that absolutely. It's hilarious you bring that up. I am the only commercial announcer in the history of Minnesota that's ever made it into the National Radio Hall of Fame. Now, Garrison Keillor did, but he wasn't a commercial guy. And then Stanley Hubbard did, but that's because he owned radio stations. Mm-hmm. When I came back home from Chicago, which is where it is, and it was announced on television and newspaper, I'd made it in the National Radio Hall of Fame, the first commercial announcer from Minnesota to ever do that. I thought people would be happy for me. The exact opposite. Oh, you arrogant son of a bitch. It's like, what? I didn't pick me. What the hell are you yelling? What are you mad at me for? Why is it that some people just can't be happy for you?
Jealousy,
Why?
Jealousy. Well, sometimes people, they don't want to see you succeed. Like, that's just
I guess. But I like to see, you got Tevin and AJ are a completely different generation than me, but I'd like to see them both succeed.
I like to see people winning. It's a better feeling than watching people like totally fail. It's not fun. I mean, if there's a lesson in the failure, that's one thing. And then, the next chapter is a huge success. You go, oh, I see where, why I had to go through one thing to get into the other. But, watching people just flop is not fun.
Well, but some people love it when they watch. There are so many people now, if you succeed, particularly in Minnesota, they do not like it and will do anything they can to harm you. And I don't know why that is. What is that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really see that in California that much, even though people say like, oh, Hollywood's so cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
In general, I think people are really kind to each other, offer information, help. I just don't feel like, gatekeeping secrets in the industry is helpful to anybody.
Right.
Because at this point, I'm like, you're supposed to be lifting up the generation behind you and going, all right, you're going to be taking over at some point. So, for me, like entertainment journalism, I mean, it is a dying art form. It really is.
Really?
Yeah. And I do think that journalism in the next few years, because Donald Trump doesn't love the media, is going to really struggle.
I don't love the media either. I'll be honest with you. I have friends in the media, but there is something about Americans, and maybe it's around the world, that if you succeed and you did it the opposite way than they thought was the way to go, they will never forgive you for succeeding and will go out of their way to harm you. It's disgusting. Why? Why don't you want people to do well?
Yeah, because I think a lot of it too has to deal with a lot of people went through kind of the struggle. So like, let's say, Kristen, as she comes up as, the world's top entertainment reporter, she was like, oh, I remember covering, this story in Idaho when nobody would read it. And then you see now where there's more access to getting your stories out there. If somebody that, just covers, they didn't have to go on the road and do all of like the hard grunt work. People feel like, well, if I had to go through that, you have to go through that. And if you don't have to go through that,
correct,
it's not fair to me.
Yeah. And for a lot of entertainment reporters, their pipeline now is through TikTok, and they become sort of pop culture experts through that. Do I resent any of them? No. It's one of those things, Zachary Reality. I'm sure a lot of people might know them, or their teens and kids know who he is. I mean, he is someone who's come through the pipeline of TikTok out of the pandemic. That's really where he has risen. And instead of me being like, I can't believe he's getting this opportunity or that opportunity, guess what? Like, he will be like, can you come on my podcast? Because you offer an expertise that I don't offer.
There you go.
It's about collaboration instead of me being like, well, wait a minute. So then I'm introduced to his audience. My audience is introduced to his audience. That's the way you have to look at it.
Okay. I know we only got about 1 minute left, so I'll ask the question right now. If in 1989 I had taken the morning show at KLOS, do you think I'd still be there?
No.
I don't either.
No, LA is a very fickle radio market. I mean, other
really
than Ellen Kay, who was Ryan Seacrest's sidekick for a really long time, and Ryan Seacrest, I mean, all of the other 80s, 90s, and early aughts, all of those personalities are pretty much gone.
Is that because he was a TV star? Because he's terrible on the radio.
He made a really smart move. He pivoted into television as they were requiring a lot of hosts, as cable was having their big boon, and American Idol. If he had not gotten American Idol, I think we'd be talking about a different situation.
Yeah,
but
I bet you're right.
He even managed to get Brian Dunkelman. Like, it was two hosts the first season, if everyone remembers. It was Brian Dunkelman and Ryan Seacrest, and everyone's like, Brian Dunkelman, who? And we all know who Ryan Seacrest is, but he had a vision for himself. He had a business plan. He wanted to model himself after Dick Clark, and he did exactly that. I mean, he's running the New Year's Eve show.
That is smart, because Dick Clark had it all figured out all those years ago. That was very smart move on his part.
And when Ryan's career was kind of struggling a little bit, he went on it and was Kelly Ripa's sidekick. And you think, well, that was kind of a sideways move. But honestly, it was a smart move, because it brought him back sort of to the the forefront of pop culture because he's in front of America every single day, 5 days a week.
Well, there's your goal, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to be successful, you have to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Have 1,600 jobs. That's the only way to do it in America.
Have 16.
That's the American dream, everyone.
Oh, what the hell? Any closing words?
If anyone is dying to watch Gladiators 2, it is officially on streaming as of today, so you can see it on Peacock. It is a long-ish movie. It's over 2 hours, but I will tell you that Denzel Washington is fantastic in it. He steals the movie.
So it is good, huh?
It is a solid B-, I would say that. I don't think it's like a great movie. It's not the first movie, which was, Oscar winning. This one is a good watch from home movie. Denzel's great.
We'll get it done. Well, Denzel's, has he ever been bad in anything, though? He's a damn good actor.
He's a great actor.
He really is.
He's a great actor.
All right. You have to put up with me again tomorrow.
Yes, I will be here for Hump Day.
No, tomorrow, AJ. We got to bring her on a minute late so she can go, hey, TikTok, bitch. I'm talking about her saying that to me, not me saying that to her.
Yeah.
You guys are late every day, so I would just...
Whenever we get here, we're on time, okay?
I know, I better sign on at the right time because like 7:15. Because Tom, when I talked to you last week, you're like, isn't your thing at like 7:20 and you come on at 7:25? I'm like, no, it's 7:15. And the days that I do sign on late, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're already a commercial. I can't win.
We're fine. Don't worry about a thing. All right, young lady, we will talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks very much. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. God, think about that. Out there in Hollywood with all those massive egos, everything burned to the ground. It's got to be tough to be in a good mood like she is. It can't be easy.
Yeah, I don't know. Just transcends. Yeah.
She does. She transcends. I like that. So,
like what in the past 3 months, she's experienced multiple natural disasters on screen with us, even at times, and always just a bubbly person.
Right, and she's got family stuff going on that she's dealing with. Where she has her moments, but for the most part, it's every day. It's bubbly, and we're ready.
Yeah, she's terrific to work with. There's no question. I want to check on just one thing before we leave. I want to make sure that it's not too long. I didn't know about this, but did you know about the snafu that Carrie Underwood had? Did you hear about that? Because I don't know anything about it.
Thrilled about it either.
Carrie Underwood ended up doing America the Beautiful a cappella. A cappella is one word, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
They written here. It's a cappella.
It's a single cappella.
It's just a single cappella.
Maybe it is 2 words.
I don't think it is. I think it's one word, isn't it?
I'm seeing multiple titles from different sources that have it as 2 words, but I always thought it was one.
No, I just Googled it. It looks like it is 2 words. I guess.
I've never known that.
Interesting.
I have never known that it's a cappella.
I'm still spelling it as one word.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't believe that. I think somebody dropped the ball on several. Anyway, so she was singing a cappella thanks to a technical glitch in the inauguration. Pretty much everyone online thought she handled it well, though. I didn't see it. Was it good?
It was kind of awkward because she came out and was standing there for 2 minutes, and then you could tell somebody kind of whispered, we can't get the song to play. We can't. And she kind of just went back. It's I can just sing it. Don't worry about it. And then she sang it, and it sounded all right. It was Carrie Underwood. I guess afterwards, though, somebody anonymously reported that she was not thrilled with the entire setup, though, because she felt like from past years' inaugurations where Beyonce and Lady Gaga got this massive stage and were able to be on display. She kind of just came out onto the floor. There was no stage. She was just in a room of people and sang. And granted, I know they changed it from being outdoors to indoors, but I guess she was not thrilled with that whole setup.
Okay. It's also not about you, Miss Underwood.
That's true.
Don't get me
you
wrong.
already have Sunday Night Football. What else do you want?
Very good point.
Trump's Day.
It's a very, very good point. And one other thing, if anybody ever asked me to sing, because I'm a pretty decent singer. I mean, not the greatest in the world, but I can sing. But if anybody ever asked me to sing America the Beautiful, I would say not a chance, because I've heard Ray Charles sing it. You can forget it. I am not going to try to compete with Ray Charles, America. Have you ever heard him sing that?
No.
If you don't tear up, you have no heart.
He didn't sing that at a Super Bowl, did he?
I think he did. I think you might be right about that.
I know there's one performance. I always just assumed it was the national anthem that everybody talks about as one of the best of all time. But I think it was like at some sporting event that he did.
Ray Charles was, God, I loved Ray Charles. No doubt about it.
Let's just get Roseanne Barr back and sing like she's
America. Yeah, that was really great. That was
what
really
was that?
wonderful.
That was like a World Series game or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Spangled Banner, amazing.
All right, fellas, good start to the week. We will talk to you tomorrow. Family's up in about 10 minutes.